Lights would help. Hello. Sorry I'm late. Welcome to Nutrition Demystified, the series where we're breaking down large nutritional concepts and trying to make them small and digestible and easily implementable. So today we're talking about nutrition as it relates to skin health. And I want to dive a little bit deeper with this one because I mean, there's as always, it's a complex topic, right? And there can be a lot of different things going on. But when it comes to skin, there's a few things we can do. So one of the first things I usually recommend to clients dealing with skin issues is we need to look at the diet. We need to look at what is actually being consumed. And the biggest thing that helped me in my journey as somebody who always struggled with acne forever was eliminating some problematic foods. But actually, I mean, the biggest thing really was healing the gut. So last week we talked a little bit about gut health. And the fact of the matter is when we have inflammation in the gut and a gut lining that is unhealthy, we see those things start to manifest in many ways, and one of them can be issues with the skin. So when we have a inflamed gut lining and particles are making it through, that causes an immune response, and we can see that inflammation start to show up in various forms. For some it can be anxiety and mental things. For some it can just be the stomach pain and stomach issues, and for others it can be in the form of hormonal imbalances, and acne can be a combination of those things. It can be hormonal, and it can also be directly tied into the food we're eating. So the first step I usually like to have people take when it comes to skin health is to try removing some foods that can commonly be problematic. And it doesn't have to be forever, just long enough to, one, identify if it's a problem. And if it is, then, maybe we need to eliminate it for a little bit longer. But that doesn't mean it can't ever come back. And that's something that I really like to let people know. Just because a food is problematic, doesn't mean we have to give it up forever and never ever eat it again. So I made the decision to give up gluten pretty seriously for a full year, didn't touch it, didn't go near it, which dramatically helped with my skin issues. And now I eat it sometimes. I still drink beer sometimes. I had a muffin this morning that wasn't gluten-free, and I'm okay. My skin doesn't immediately break out anymore. But it takes some time and some focus of removing the problematic food and healing before it can be worked back in. So when it comes to nutrition and skin, the number one thing is going to be gut health. So healing the small intestine. In partnership with gut health, when it comes to skin, we're also largely talking about the liver and liver health. So the liver has 500 plus jobs of things it does, and it's a really important organ in the detoxification process. And so if our liver is stressed and doesn't have the support it needs and is unable to break down and eliminate toxins can be anything. They can be actual toxins that we, take in from the atmosphere and in our food. It can be hormones that we've used and now need to be broken down and gotten rid of. If that process in our body, I don't want to say is broken, but it is under stress and is having trouble, then we can start to see that manifest in skin issues. So when our body cannot properly detoxify and get shit out by way of the liver, then we can start to see it happen. We can start to see acne. So from a foundational perspective, when it comes to skin, we want to heal the gut and we want to support the liver. So we talked last week about gut health, foods that you can try to add in rather than take away that help support the gut and gut health are going to be your greens, your fibers, prebiotic and probiotic foods, fermented foods. Throw some sauerkraut in your salad. Bone broth is a great one we talked about last week. Some of these really nutrient-dense foods, adding those in can help with the gut, and possibly taking away some foods that tend to be problematic. Some of those may be things like gluten, things like dairy. For some people, corn is a big one. Soy can be one. It's not necessarily going to be all of them for you as one person. It might be one or two, it might be none. You may be able to digest those foods perfectly fine, and it doesn't impact your gut health or your skin, but it's worth a shot figuring it out if it's something that you're currently struggling with. So when it comes to nutrition and skin, removing foods that are problematic really helps. Adding in foods that help to heal the gut, and adding in foods that help to heal the liver, adding some lemon in your water, making sure you're eating things like beets are a very supportive food for the liver, bitter foods, greens like dandelion greens, kale, chard, those more bitter greens, very helpful and supportive for the liver, and hence supporting the health of our skin. And then when it comes to specific vitamins and nutrients, we want to think about vitamin A. I think vitamin A is a common one that we hear all over the place for skin health. All of the creams and stuff, are made with vitamin A extracts and XYZ. So those are helpful for the skin. Other ones, zinc is a big one. Zinc is a tissue healing nutrient. It's a nutrient that's needed in the tissue regeneration process. So zinc can be a helpful nutrient if you're having problem digesting your food. Zinc is likely a major player. That's one that I would encourage you to maybe seek out the help of somebody who can better advise whether you need it specifically. But it is one, if you're going to try it on your own, to start with a low dose. It may cause nausea, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That could be kind of your body healing. But if you take a really big dose, which is going to be like 50 milligrams of zinc, that's probably a little bit too much to begin with. So start maybe even as low as 15. See how your body responds. Try that for a while. If you're on a form of birth control, zinc can be really supportive as well. And that's a really blanket statement. So take it, lightly. But with females and hormonal health and birth control, XYZ, sometimes zinc can get depleted pretty easily. So that is a one to try. So we talked about vitamin A, zinc. Fish oils can be helpful when it comes to skin. So all of the cells in our body are made with fatty acids. And the better quality fats we intake in our diet, the better quality fatty acids that are then used to make our cells. So a high quality fish oil supplement, for most people, specifically an omega-3, will be helpful. A lot of our diets, if you're eating conventionally raised meat, tend to be high on the omega-6 sides. So kind of balancing that out with some omega-3 fatty acids can be helpful. And maybe that's something we'll dive deep into on another call, because supplements and vitamins and minerals is just, as you guys know, a whole nother world. But in general, nutrients to consider. Again, best to first get them from your food. See the video I did earlier on nutrition from food versus supplements, but nutrients we want to keep our eye on when it comes to skin are going to be vitamin A, omegas, fatty acids, zinc are good ones to start with. And I know that there's all these collagen powders and XYZ out there. Those things can be great, but again, I'd recommend getting them in the form of a bone broth, something that's actually nourishing first. and start there. And then, it might be appropriate down the line to maybe add in some type of collagen. But I wouldn't start there. Start with eating more real foods, the ones that are supportive of your gut and liver health. Remove foods that are problematic, and be sure to support your liver. One other thing I'll mention when it comes to supporting the liver is managing your stress. So stress is something that the liver takes directly, because it affects the blood sugar regulation process. So whether it be deep breathing, getting enough sleep, drinking water, meditating, creative outlets, whatever it is that you do to help manage your stress, will impact your liver and then your skin health. So those are the major points. Gut health, number 1, eating foods to support the gut. Remove foods that are problematic and inflammatory, at least temporarily, to see what happens. I usually encourage people to start with 21 days if you can, see what happens. Then add the food back in slowly and see what you notice. 3 is supporting the liver and managing stress. From there, we start to think about specific nutrients such as vitamin A, zinc, and fish oil when it comes to skin health. But as I mentioned in posts before, the skin can be healed naturally. I did it myself. I'm not big into all the creams and stuff. If you are, that's great. Some people just love the world of skincare, and I think that's great. But if it intimidates you, like it does me, I'm here to say you don't need to dive into it. There are things you can do with the food you eat to help heal your skin. So hope that was helpful. Thank you to everyone who's here. If you have further questions, please shoot them over. This is going to be live in my story for 24 hours, and then we'll get the full video posted sometime this week. Thanks so much. See you guys next week.